From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Well, greetings, fine people. It's great to have you with us today. You have reached the Badass Counseling Show. Wherever you are tuning in from, whether it is France or Sweden, Japan or South Africa, Sacramento or Staten Island, it's wonderful to have you joining us today. I am joined by my team in the studio. I've got KC over in the booth, quiet as ever. I've got Carly, the studio cat, licking herself and staring at me once I just said her name with these eyes like, don't you dare speak my name. Get my name out of your mouth, she says as she stares at me with her green eyes.
She just yawned.
And she yawned. You bore me, earthling. And Rob the Rocket. Rob, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm very happy to be with a nice young woman, and I usually just see her on the weekends, so my favorite Beatles song is 2 Days a Week.
Do you feel cheated, Rob?
No, actually, it's so good it lasts me the whole week through. Thank you.
Wow. I'm sure that's been the tagline for some candy bar or something. It lasts all day. Good enough, it lasts all day, or Tylenol or something. I don't know. Is she like a drug, Rob?
Yeah, and of the best kind, of course.
Yeah? What'd you guys do this weekend?
Let's see. Actually, we saw her two grandchildren, and we took care of them for a few hours. It made me a hero with her family, and so that's all good.
That's awesome. It's easy to be a hero with grandkids, too.
They're charming.
Oh, I'll bet they are. She's charming. So, well, Rob, would you tell us about Cricket?
Absolutely, Sven. Cricket wrote in with the subject line, love siphoning. And Cricket said, I want to be on the show because I need to put a light on my cowardice with the feeling of love. This is a list of words and the attitude that comes with it that were strictly forbidden in my home during my childhood, and they are playful, loving, listening, tenderness, affection, hug, kisses, passion, support, having fun, singing, acceptance, compassion, laugh, dancing, and approval. And everything positive was rejected in my family. Mom is ignorance, darkness, violence, poverty. She destroyed the twirling child I was. I became an extension of her body and mind. I became Echo, a good boy, full of her and full of my suffering, frustration, and non-existence. Dad was a ghost. I have built nothing. I have nothing. No children, no car, no house, no fame, no reputation. I know that I am ignorance, darkness, and violence because of that fusion with my mother, an empty shell. The goal for my mom was to have a male nurse when she got old. I always felt like a big piece of shit with no future. Because of that, I've always been siphoning love, playing with the feelings of women that were interested with me. But inside of me, something says no. Because of my very low self-esteem, I can't seduce a woman I love. I can't conquer her. I'm worthless. And I'm a widower since 2006, and I still don't confront this issue. I can't run anymore.
Cricket, welcome to the show.
Hello, Sven. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure is ours. So a bunch of stuff there. So you were clearly taught to dislike yourself, and it sounds like there was not a lot of good in your childhood home. Is that safe to say?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I want to actually, before we look at all of that stuff, which was pretty much your entire write-up, right at the very end of what you wrote, you added this sentence: I am a widower since 2006, and I still didn't confront this issue. So you've been a widower since 2006, so that's 20 years. How did your wife die?
She died from an illness. She was suffering from thyroid.
Okay.
Thyroid,
okay.
Yes, thyroid. And we were separate. I left, and once I received a phone call that was on my phone, recorded in my phone, and they say that she passed away at the hospital. And
so why did you leave prior to her dying? Why did you leave?
It was very difficult. My heart is at that time, my heart was a piece of stone. I love her. I respect her. She was very happy with me, and I was her husband. I was very respecting her, and but I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled, and also my family was calling me because I was living in Dominican Republic at that time. I lived there for 5 years, and my wife was Dominican. So I lived with her 3 years. We get married, and we were living, and it wasn't fulfilling. And I decided, well, if it's not working, if it's no passion, if it's no something that make my heart boom, and it's better to put an end, maybe.
Okay. And then you said, in that sentence, you said, and I still don't confront this issue. What's the reason that you don't and haven't confronted this issue?
Because I left, and because she passed away, I'm still married with her. I didn't do the administration. Once a person is pass away, we have to make to register a new statement, a new. I'm sorry.
Oh, you have to sort of register that your spouse has passed away and that you are single.
Yes.
You are single
Yes.
again.
Yes,
Interesting.
and I didn't do that because I felt guilty. I didn't want to think about this anymore.
And you felt guilty, you said. And what would you say in one sentence? What was it that you felt guilty for in one sentence?
She loved me very much, and once I said to her something hurtful, and when I spoke to her daughter, she said that my wife started to a strong, very severe diet, and she started to not take care of her thyroid. So was going at work, and she fell in a street. So I think I'm part of the reason she passed away.
I see. And, well, then I have to ask, what did you say to her? I mean, if you remember saying
Yes, I
something that
remember.
killed her, of
I
course you
remember.
do, and you have so much guilt, you know exactly what the fuck you said. So I got to know, what did you say?
I did a critic, and this wasn't. I spoke about her body.
What did you say? Say the exact words that you remember saying to her.
I told her something that I've heard a lot about myself by my mom. You're fat.
You're fat. What are you feeling right now?
Shame.
Because?
Because this is hurtful.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you hurt her feelings. There's no doubt about that. Well, but you did not change her diet. You did not kill her. She changed her diet. If she was taking medication for thyroid, and if she stopped taking her medication, she made that choice. Those are two separate things. Okay? You did not take away her medication. You did not start feeding her bad food and, Captain Crunch or whatever. No. You said something that was very hurtful and rude and selfish. There's no disputing that. 100% true, and you admit it. And I respect you for at least admitting it. And the fact that you feel shame for it, says you're a decent human being for feeling the real feelings rather than saying, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. So you admit it, and I admire that. But, and it hurt her. I have no doubt it hurt her, right? She wouldn't have changed her actions on things unless, it probably had an influence. But to say that you made her change her diet, nope. To say that you killed her, nope. No. She made some decisions, and unfortunately, those decisions led to her death. In all likelihood, although you said she was crossing the street or she fell or something, so who knows what the exact circumstances were. But you didn't kill your wife. So I'm sorry to take that one away from you, but you don't get credit for that one.
Thank you. Thank you. Because during years, when I came back here to Europe, after when I was aware of she passed away, I was stuck in like a depression for years. I couldn't work and nobody could help me, and I didn't want to speak about that. So I kept this during all these years, and I didn't attend the administration and to cut from the past.
Yeah. Let me ask you, if she magically appeared today, magically, for 5 minutes, and you could say anything to her, if she just magically appeared, let's say right now, and the clock was ticking and there was a little clock counter on the wall right next to you, and it said 5 minutes, and you got to say something to her, you had 5 minutes to talk, what would you say to her?
I would say that I love her, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for saying something so hurtful and having not controlled myself. This is not a word this is very offensive, and this is mean. This is a rat. I was a rat that day when I spoke that, and I will ask her a forgiveness, and because I don't know much about love, but I felt hurt when I knew that she passed away.
Yeah, of course.
And so that means that I don't know how, but I would say this, and I'm so sorry, and because she was very kind with me, with a lot of tenderness.
I'm sure she was. I have no doubt. And my stepdaughter is half Dominican, and I've gotten to know many Dominicans, especially in the New York City area, and they are some of the most exquisite people I know. Just real best of the best. So I have no doubt that she was a very warm woman. Let me ask you this. What percent of all the guilt that you have felt, what percent has been the guilt over saying you're fat and then her dying from that in your brain, in your thoughts? I said she was fat, and then because of that, dun, 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 and she's dead. What percent of the guilt and the shame that you have felt has been because you said you're fat, and what percent of the guilt and the shame you have felt is because you left and she died?
Yeah.
So was it 70-30? Was it 20-80? Was it 60-40? What are we talking about here?
I think it's the hurtful words were about 30, and 70 was for the fact that as a husband, while she was not taking care of herself, not following a right diet, and not checking her thyroid, I felt like your husband, and you left her this way, like a coward.
And did you leave? And you said coward. Okay, so it was 70%. The guilt I've felt has been 70% because I left her and 30% because of the words, you're fat. So then did you leave when you said, 70% because I left her and that I was a coward? Did you leave because you were afraid? Because usually being a coward is because you're afraid of something. Did you leave because you were afraid? Did you stay away because you were afraid of something, or did you stay away because you were angry, or did you stay away because of something else? Why did you stay away? Was it actually fear?
I didn't felt fulfillment in the relationship. I wasn't happy at all. There's something wrong. Deep inside there is something very negative, and I don't find how to I don't know how to relieve that. And I felt guilty also with parents. They were old and
With your
I was
parents?
yes.
Say more.
Because my brother, for example, told me you should take care of your parents. At that time, I was in that mood that I'm responsible of the happiness and when I was in Dominican Republic, and I wasn't happy, but I love. I don't know. In some way, I love my wife, but I wasn't happy enough. And in the other side, they were calling me, and
I
yes,
wanted another percentage. You did a good job with the first percentage. Now I want another percentage. So you were in the Dominican Republic, this beautiful paradise in the Caribbean, right? And you're in the DR, and you're with this wonderful woman, and you weren't feeling fulfilled. And so, what percent of your not feeling fulfilled was because of your relationship with the woman? And what percent of your not feeling fulfilled was because you were being called by your family back in the old country across the ocean?
I wasn't fulfilled with my wife. It's about it's very high how I was dead. I if it's a percentage, maybe it's 80% of non
So
very deep.
again, remember the percentage was of your feeling unfulfilled in your life at that time.
Yes,
What
yes.
percent was because of the woman, and what percent was because your family was sort of whispering in your ear and calling you back and so forth?
It's 80
80
for
20.
the
Okay.
yes.
And 20 for family. Okay. And then you say the total amount of time that you were with her, the amount you were married and before you got
Yeah.
married, the total amount of time that you were together was how long
It was 3 years.
total? Okay. And at what point in the 3 years was it no longer fulfilling? Was it no longer what you wanted? Was it 2 months into the relationship? Was it 2 years? Was it 2 years and 9 months? Was it 1 week? How far into the relationship was it when the relationship was no longer fulfilling?
I think it's about 1 year. I think I thought it we will. I will change. I will get to a higher level of fulfillment, and I didn't reach that. And we were working to both of us, and she was very strong. She was very the best one in time sharing in Dominican Republic. I was a salesman, and but there was I'm stuck in the ground. There's no something celestial. There's I wasn't happy at
Okay.
all.
That's okay. It's okay to not be
And
happy in a.
I
You're
try.
not the first person who wasn't happy in a relationship. It's okay to admit that.
Yes, but it's a shame not to know what we really want in life, what we choose to make things work, and if we even if we want to make things work, I didn't succeed
No. Right. Well, you didn't succeed at what? You didn't succeed at fixing the relationship, or you didn't succeed at what?
at being happy.
Since then,
or
in the relationship or since then?
in the relationship.
Right. Right. And it happens. That happens. And you tried and you did your best, I assume. And you said some things that you regret. And who knows, if she came back for those 5 minutes, maybe she would have some things that she regrets. I don't know. But yeah, we make mistakes. And this is how we learn. This is part of how we learn, is by trying things and going down paths that aren't our path. You've probably heard me say before that the path to discovering who we are requires discovering who we're not. And you discovered in that marriage some things about yourself. And we're going to take a break right now. But before we do, I'm going to ask you the question, and you're going to answer it when we come back. And the question is, what was the biggest thing that marriage taught you about yourself? And we'll be right back.
I cheated on my husband, and for a long time, I didn't know how to fix the wreck I'd made of our lives. I found a book, Cheating Sucks. It's actually written for people who were cheated on. I thought it would just be about blame, but it was actually the key to healing myself. It taught me how to understand why I did it, how to have true compassion for the pain I caused, and gave me the courage to finally be totally open with him. If you are struggling on either side of infidelity, Cheating Sucks changed everything for me. Get it at badasscounseling.com today, available as audiobook and paperback.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform, and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
All right, we are back with Cricket. So, Cricket, what was that relationship sort of sent to teach you? What did you learn about yourself as a result of that 3-year relationship and marriage?
Thank you. This is a very good question. It's related with the topic of siphoning, love siphoning, and it's she look. We were working in sales, time sharing sales for an American society called Interval, and she was nice, and I looked to her. She was very strong. She was the best sales women in this area in all Dominican Republic. I thought she's strong, but she's the one who came to me and I'm always very shy, and I fear that what I fear the most is rejection.
So what did you learn from this relationship? What was it sent to teach you about you?
That I'm not in charge of the seduction.
What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
I'm not the boss in the relationship. I don't do the things. I'm not like a man who is seducing a woman. I let the woman approach because I fear taking action and initiative.
And wait a minute, you didn't know that about yourself prior to that? That was the first time you learned it? You're in your, 50s? So you would have been in your 30s and you didn't know that prior to your 30s? Come on. Maybe you didn't, and that's okay. So tell me that. But you didn't learn that until your 30s?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so you learn that you are shy and you let women approach. Anything else that you learned about yourself as a result of that relationship?
I have a very poor self-esteem. I think that most of the time I'm thinking that temperatures could be below zero. Since I'm a child, I'm minus 30 or minus 20 in temperatures, and the people I met are plus 20 or 30. So this makes a very huge gap between me and others. It's about 40 degrees between or 50 degrees, and this is why I didn't. I start things everything I do is very late, and I was.
And so you titled your write up to us and love siphoning, and you just brought it up again when you were talking about your deceased wife, and you were discussing the idea of love siphoning, that you've been siphoning love from people in your life. It
Yes.
sounds like. Do you believe that love was siphoned from you as a child?
Yes, the parents were pouring the love cup from the eight elements of love that you give: touch, gift, and radical honesty, and so on. There's only two: with service, gift, and both of them were to pour their love cup. And I remember also that the 4A: acceptance, approval, attention, and affection, there was none of them. So I grew up in a very toxic environment.
Right. And so you were expected to pour love into them. Is that correct? Or into mom for sure, right? They weren't pouring love into you, were they?
No,
No, right. Were you expected to be respectful or kind or loving towards them? Were you expected to obey them? Was it?
Yes.
It was all about what they received, not about you
Yeah.
getting it. Right. So they were siphoning love from you.
yes.
Right.
I-
Okay. Yeah. If somebody has an automobile and I siphon the gas out of its gas tank, I take that gas for my car. Right. So your parents were siphoning the gas, they were siphoning the love out of your love cup to take for themselves. And so would you say that's what you were doing with your wife, siphoning her love for yourself? Or were you giving love back?
At the beginning, I was siphoning, but after I don't think that I was always like a cynical man.
Let me ask you this. In your relationship with her, what percent were you siphoning love from her, and what percent were you giving love to her?
I was siphoning love from her, but
But
which
what
percentage?
percent?
Yes, Sven, but holy shit.
Oh, you wanted easy questions today. Come on, man. What percent in your 3 years with your wife, prior to her death, the whole relationship, what percent were you siphoning love from her, and what percent were you giving love to her overall? Just try. You can change your mind later.
Maybe 70 siphoning.
And 30% giving.
Both of us, I saw her mother. Our mother was very toxic. Both of us, we came from very toxic mothers.
Gotcha. And so then let me ask this question. If she came from a toxic mother, then she probably had her own bad habits as well. Your wife did. And so it wasn't just you. So what was the biggest thing that your wife did to hurt you?
She didn't. She
Oh,
was
please.
always.
Oh, please. You had a 3-year relationship and she never did one thing or said one thing to hurt you. Really?
No, never.
Never. Really?
Sometimes there was a small stuff.
Like what?
She told me once, she let me understood that I was a little bit fat.
Oh, the irony of that one. I mean, gee,
I didn't
okay, I
remember
gotta, that is fucking ironic. And now I have to ask, not that it makes it right, not that anything about this situation is good, but I'm curious now, who said it first?
her. but she say this in the
There's a
intimacy and something.
wait, what? She said it when you guys were being intimate?
Yes.
Oh. Wait a minute. Did you tell her that she was fat when you guys were being intimate?
No.
Okay, I just want to make it clear. So you guys are naked, you're having sex, and she thought that would be a great time to tell someone she loves, you're a bit fat.
When she said that, I felt the blow.
Oh, no shit. No shit. Oh my God. Pardon me while I go outside and put a gun to my head. It's like, okay, just for the record, KC is shaking her head right now because she knows where I'm going with this one. For all the women who listen to our show, okay, you just took your clothes off. The lights are on, dimly lit room. You got some Barry White going on in the background, singing in the background. You guys are having a nice, real sexy time. Maybe you got some white wine. Maybe you got some Hennessy going. I don't know, whatever you got. Maybe you've had a gummy or two, whatever it is. And your man turns to you and said, "Hon, you're looking kind of fat today." Wow. Holy cow. You had a big breakfast. It's just like, tell me, any woman who listens to this show, tell me you wouldn't be offended. Well, that just happened to my man Cricket here. They're being intimate, and she thought that would be the best time. Now, ladies, what I would love, I wish I had a live audience right now. I do have one over on YouTube, but it's a somewhat small one. But I would love to have a live audience right now to know what percentage of the women, or what the women think of the woman telling Cricket when they are being intimate that he's looking fat. Because goddamn well, if those roles were reversed, you would be calling for his head. Now, guys, what percentage of the guys find that offensive, find that hurtful? Rob, I want to ask Rob. Rob, what do you think of the fact that Cricket is feeling all this guilt? Here's a guy who feels all this guilt, has basically linked his actions, his hurtful words, which he fully admits, and I called him out on. He fully admits that, he said hurtful words to his wife, and he blamed himself in part for killing her, which he didn't. But he blamed himself. At no point did he try to defend himself. Well, she said this. I was dragging that out on a separate thread of questioning. I dragged out what she said. He even said she never said anything bad about me. He said that more than once. And I said, come on. Okay, so this is not a guy trying to say, well, she said this, like a fucking 8-year-old who stole a cookie. What do you think of the fact that Cricket's wife, when they are having sex, chose that as the time to tell him that he's looking a little chubby?
Two wrongs in this case make a double wrong.
Well, yeah.
That's for sure.
Right.
And there's no better way to kill a mood and then to kill a relationship than to point these things out. And to do it in that situation, well, that's just exponentially horrible. It's like sitting in a restaurant with your partner and saying, shouldn't we both go on a diet together? I mean, it's just wrong. And of course, the reaction would be what it was.
How would you feel, Rob, if, you're getting naked with your wonderful girlfriend and, you guys are having sex and she says, wow, you're getting a bit of a paunch there, honey, or wow, hey, what have you put on, about 25 pounds? I mean, how would you feel?
You know how confident I am in myself, so not great. But she actually told me she had a boyfriend a few years ago, and one of the reasons she is no longer with him is that he literally said that to her in a restaurant. Shouldn't you order from the spa menu? I mean, really, give me a break.
Oh, the stupid shit, hurtful shit.
By the way, she didn't need to. Just
no,
FYI.
I've seen your girlfriend. She's beautiful. Cricket, I got to tell you, your wife saying that is fucking disgusting. Her saying that is as bad as you saying it, but her saying it in that setting makes it how many times worse for you, Rob?
Well, N where N is large.
Yeah, at 10 times worse. Close off, you guys are having sex, and she chooses to say that. That's fucked up. And I'm sorry. When you tried to tell me, oh, she's never done anything wrong. And then you say, okay, well, she did this one thing. I'm expecting you to say, like, she was mad at me, and so she dented my car. She bumped it into the back of the, garage or something. No, she calls you fat when you guys are, oh, jeez. Oh, yeah, she had her fucking issues. Absolutely.
I didn't remember that. By your question, it came to me, and I think that when she said that, I was blown. I felt the hurt.
Okay, and you know what? You just made the hurt and the sadness, of course. And you just made a really interesting point. And in a way, this is sort of one of the grand lessons of our conversation here today. You just said, that point that she had hurt you like that you said, I had forgotten that. And your question basically made me think of it, made me remember it. Let me ask you this. What does it feel like? What are you feeling right now, having brought that out and said it, and then we discussed it? Give me a feeling word. What are you feeling right now? Be honest.
Happy.
Why would you be feeling happy?
Because I feel less guilty. The balance is more normal.
Right.
I felt that I was a cruel and a very bad man, and also thinking about the percentage you asked me about the love siphoning, and I was getting from her. I think it was totally wrong. That relationship was wrong. She was nice, I was nice with her, but we were two broken people.
Yeah, and that happens. And I've been in that marriage before. Rob's been in that relationship. KC has been in that relationship before. We've all been there. Here's the thing. The reason I ask you what you are feeling now is because you came into this episode of the show feeling down and feeling heavy and feeling shame and guilt and so forth. And we went deeper into this issue. You spent your entire write-up, the entire thing that you wrote to us, you spent talking about mom and dad and how you have felt your entire life. You did. And it was a great write-up, and I'm grateful that you wrote that. But you put this one little sentence at the very end. And it's stuck. We have a saying in English, maybe you know it. It stuck out like a sore thumb. And if something sticks out like a sore thumb, it means it's just weird. It doesn't seem to fit. Okay? And for that reason, I chose to pull on that thread over here of the sore thumb rather than all this stuff over here that you talked about. I pulled on this little thing. And when I pulled on that little thing about your wife, your deceased wife, and we pulled on it some more, and we pulled on it some more, and some more, and some more, and what we discovered was that you had this guilt in there. But what we also discovered was the reason for your guilt is because you had said something to her that you felt caused her death. And then we discovered, well, that couldn't possibly be true. You didn't change her diet. You said a hurtful thing. Now, among our listeners, I guarantee you, all the people that listen to our show around the world, you calling her fat was rude and it was hurtful and it was mean. But if you were to talk to all my listeners around the world, they've either said a whole lot worse in their relationships or they have heard a whole lot worse. I have said worse in my relationships, bad stuff. And I have heard worse said to me, far worse than you're fat. All right? Words that I can barely even say on my own show. That's how blue those words were. So my point is, you were coming in feeling really bad, and we went into it, and we talked about it, and we began to take it apart and ask questions. And then I asked that question about, well, what what did she ever do? Talk to me, because you said she had a bad mom. A mom that was very
bad.
toxic was the word you used. And you put that out there. I didn't ask about her mom. You put it out there. And I said, well, if she had a toxic mom, then your wife probably had some issues herself. So I started pulling.
Yes.
I pulled on a thread. You put that thread, you dangled it out there, and I started pulling on that thread. And I said, so what were her issues? What did she do to you? You said nothing, never, never, never. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. In a 3-year relationship with someone who has a toxic mom, there's no way that she was Miss Perfect. There's just no way. It just couldn't happen. And when I pushed you to answer the question, then, as you say, I had forgotten something and you remembered it. And when you remembered it, it's like, holy shit, that's a big thing. She hurt you with the exact same words that you had hurt her, but she did it in an even worse setting. That her crime was actually worse than your crime. It could be argued that her crime was worse than your crime. And as a result of us digging deeper and asking deeper questions, it forced that big brain of yours to work harder and remember things that you had forgotten. Because we asked the questions, you remembered things. And because you remembered things, now you feel happy and less
and I feel
guilty.
I feel more light, very light, less heaviness.
Exactly. More light and less heaviness. All right. And this, my friend, this is why we journal. Because this is exactly what you can be doing to yourself in journaling. Is you can be asking these questions, pushing yourself. I push myself in my journaling. I'll say to myself, if I have some preconceived idea, if I have some idea that I have held to, I could give you an example, but if I had some idea, I'll push myself. Well, what if that didn't make sense? What if that's not right? Then what might it be? And I force myself to go deeper, and it cracks open my thinking. All I did with you today, Cricket, all I did was I just asked you deeper questions, and I pushed you on some questions. You had this idea that I'm at fault, I am bad, I am bad, I am bad.
Yes.
That is what your entire write-up is, how bad you are. And then you had this little dangling thread at the end of, I haven't confronted the fact that, my wife died in 2006. I just pulled on one little thread, and the whole thing, for at least for now, unraveled. That you, in this situation with your wife, you weren't bad. Yes, you said a hurtful thing, no doubt about it. But then we realized, there was more to the story, a lot more to the story. Okay, and so what I'm saying is you can be doing this work on your own, because all of this stuff here, all of the stuff about, them teaching you that you're no good and you're a bad boy and that you are nothing and that you only exist to be mom's male nurse when she's older and that you're, a piece of shit and all of this stuff, that none of it was true. And you have to go into that. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, I know you told our producers that you have read my book and you've listened to our shows and so forth. Let me ask you, what percent of your past do you feel like you have really journaled about and gone deep into?
I didn't do the job. I'm not serious about healing. I'm not serious, really. I know that I should. I want to make a chronology, a movie, because my life is so confused, and I'm always running that I don't know exactly the dates and what happens, this, that, and I start a chronology writing with dates, and I put names of people I met, and things come, and it's very big. It's a tsunami. Every time I write something, it looks like my life has been absolutely useless, with no goal, with no direction.
And so you start writing, and you start feeling really, really bad.
in the computer. I start with like a word, and it looks it's awful. It's awful because I start with, for example, when I start gardening, I went to a school. At school, there was a Japanese girl who wanted me, and I was pleasing her, and I didn't want that girl. She was called Yuriko, and I was most interested in a black woman called Fanta, and I was going to with Yuriko, and she's Yoko Ono, very cold woman, and Fanta is very sunny, and I always pleasing others instead of following my. And there was bully people, and I was like a coward instead of defending myself. And in all my life, it has been this, and this is what I'm the most scared of, because nowadays I noticed that all my life has been like a tragedy of negativity and nothing positive except a few things about spirituality, I think. Yes, that's why I'm very scared to go deep, because it's like going and swimming in vitriol or acid, something like that.
Right. You said you're scared to go deep because it's like swimming in vitriol or swimming in acid. Scared to go deep, right? Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, yes, swimming in the piece in shit and something that stinks.
Right. And how would you describe this? What words? What are you swimming in, or what's it like living, knowing that you are ignorance and darkness and violence because of that fusion with your mother, and that you are an empty shell, and that you are always siphoning violence and siphoning love and playing with the feelings of women that have been interested in you? What does that feel like? If going into your past is like swimming in vitriol and acid, then what is this? What's it like living this way?
It's hell.
So you are choosing hell rather than the swimming in acid.
All this is hellish, evil. It's not positive. There's no light at all.
Right.
This is an heritage from the family, and this is no good at all.
How do you explain that tonight, when we were talking, and I know you're 6-7 hours ahead of us, so I know it's nighttime where you are. How do you explain that you feel happier and less guilty and more light and less heaviness, but we didn't create a chronology? How do you explain that? Because you seem to be saying that in order for me to do my journaling, I have to do a chronology in order to experience any payoff, but we didn't do a chronology here.
I'm always inventing excuses and preparation and rituals and stuck in my head and preparation, logistic and this and that.
Right. And those are excuses for I don't want to fucking do it, right? I just don't want to fucking do it, right?
Right. Absolutely. You are right, Sven.
Yeah. And I don't blame you. And it is hard. And I tell you what, Cricket, that this is a lot of people. You are not alone. Many of my listeners and my followers and people who comment don't want to go into it because you said it so perfectly, my friend. It is like swimming in vitriol. It is like swimming in acid, all right, in shit. You said it so well. And yet, when we do it like you've experienced today, I took you into thinking about a bad memory of how you thought that you killed your wife, basically. And I took you right into it. It's like, let's go there. I'm curious. And we went in, and what we discovered is you didn't kill your wife. You didn't make her stop eating vegetables or stop taking her, I don't know, statins or whatever the fuck you take for a thyroid. You didn't make her do that. She did that. You said a very hurtful, rude, disgusting, mean thing, and you would apologize to her and you feel bad over it, and that's fine. But you didn't kill her. That's just dumb. And then we also discovered, oh shit, she could be a hurtful motherfucker too. She could be just as rude and mean and hurtful as you, if not more so. So all of a sudden the tables get balanced. Well, guess what? This is what happens. That lighter and less guilty and uh, less heavy and happy feelings that you feel, that's exactly the shit that you can feel from journaling on stuff if you have the courage. And you don't have to take it on all at once. You just take it in little bites. You and I we just like fixed, we didn't even have an hors d'oeuvre tonight or an entree. We just had hors d'oeuvres. It's like they served us a little platter of like some cheeses and like some quince paste and like some fucking, a little bit of, some meats and some crackers. And we were just sort of nibbling and tasting tonight. And look, you feel better and you feel lighter and so forth. And you can take your journaling in small bites. You really can. But you got to go into it and you got to welcome up. I forced you to welcome up your yucky feelings about, oh, I killed my wife. And your yucky feelings about, I don't want to say anything bad about her. And your yucky feelings about your guilt and your shame. I forced you to think about those things. And I took you into it. And you can do this on yourself. Well, is it really true? And no, that can't be right. And you go in a little deeper and a little deeper and a little deeper. And the more you do that, then you feel a little more light. And then you feel a little less heavy. And at some point, you can keep complaining about the past and the stuff that was done to me, but at some point then, or you can go into that past and start fixing it today. And I think with you still have 1 foot down each path. You have 1 foot saying, this sucks, I hate living this way. And you have 1 foot saying, but the healing work sucks, it sucks living that way. And you're still sort of doing a bit of both. And you have a very good heart, you do. But you can't decide which one you want to do, and you're still kind of doing both. And you're not alone. There are lots of people that do that, but it's like, it's hard living the way you're living. It's hard living in hell right now.
Yes, right.
What question or questions do you have for me?
I feel like sometimes I like courage, and I don't know, but tonight I recover. Thanks to you, I'm more. This story about my wife was very huge because I fell in depression, and this is very good to you did a very great job, Sven, really, by asking. And okay, I have not really question, but sometimes I feel like, how can I do if I'm go down? I don't write. It's difficult to recover and to. Sometimes I'm not aware that I totally lost the track. This is the difficult part, but by speaking tonight, I'm back on the track.
Sure. And if we get into the practice of just journaling each day, even if it's not on something deep, but if we get into the practice of journaling each day, then we get more and more used to it. And even if you're just journaling about something that happened yesterday, and start with small stuff. What was that best-selling book? The book is titled The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It was
yes, I have it.
You have it, okay. And that's what she talks about in there. And
yes.
I've been doing it since I was 13, long before that book came out. But when that came out, that was a revelation for a lot of people. And it's a fantastic book. And she talks about just doing your morning pages every day and just
yes.
getting into that practice of doing the journaling. But if you take your traumas and your pains in small bites and just start with the recent ones, what'll happen is you'll get better and better at it. Even if you just start with one that happened yesterday at work, and you start with that, and you dig around, well, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? Stand up for yourself. What did the other person do wrong? And what did they do right? And how am I feeling? And how did I feel at the time? And why? Is it okay that I felt what I felt? Things like that. Go ahead.
This is every day there is a small stuff in life, and most of the time I think this is small, this is nothing, but in fact it's not something. it reveals something about, and I think that I'm a magnet for shitty people. Because maybe from my shoulders or something in the body is saying something, come and beat, and
Well, and I know it may feel that way, but the truth is, the more healing work you do, and you're not the only one that doesn't like to journal. You're not the only one who has been afraid to do the healing work. But the more you do it, the less you will tolerate it, and the less you will attract people like that. So it's just a matter of doing it in little bits. Just start with a little bit and do a little bit more, but you have to stay with it. Otherwise, you'll just stay in this hell that you are in. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, Cricket. You were a great guest.
Thank you. Thank you, Sven. Thanks for all of you. So kind of you. Very nice. So happy.
You're welcome, and it's always charming to have the accent of the French with us. It's just such a beautiful accent.
Yes, yes, maybe. Okay, thank you.
Rob, any final thoughts?
If there was ever a reason to not feel guilty, I think we have defined it, and I'm so sorry that it's been 2 decades that Cricket has been living with this. Yeah. She said, you're fat. He said, you're fat. I mean, if our show was sponsored by Ozempic, our listeners would think this was a setup.
Right. You got the plug in there. And by the way, I do want to tell Cricket that I think it's time to contact the administration and let them know, whether it's in Dominican Republic or your home country, let them know that your wife is deceased, and it's time to close that chapter of your life and to re-register as a single man. It's time to get that done.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I think you should. All right. Well, thank you so much on behalf of all my listeners around the world. Thank you to Cricket for that fascinating story, and thank you to my team for all your hard work. Join us again. We love having you here. On behalf of my team, have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by 2-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.